Hello everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Alena Shautsova, New York immigration attorney. Good afternoon, good evening. Today we're going to have our live as promised. We're going to discuss the most recent immigration news, changes in our asylum system, changes that are to come. We're also going to talk about visa bulletin, what's happening with the visa bulletin. This is extremely important for those of you who are in preference categories, which means almost everyone, right? Except for those who are immediate relatives of US citizens. We're going to talk about what to come, and of course, in the end, I'll be answering your guys' questions live. So, thank you very much for joining. Again, my name is Alena Shautsova. I'm an immigration attorney from New York, but I help people in all 50 states and overseas. Hi, my TikTok followers. Thank you very much for your hearts. And I do this live sessions regularly to update you guys, to share my way of thinking, update you guys with regard to the most recent immigration news, and of course, to answer your questions. And again, today we're going to be discussing new proposed rules that are going to be final with regard to asylum at the border. Extremely important to know that, especially for those of you who are watching from overseas. Perhaps you're in Mexico trying to come to the United States. Most of my clients and my followers, of course, are law-abiding residents, citizens, and they will be using CBP-1 app. But for those of you who didn't have an other choice, you need to know about upcoming changes. Those of you who came through the points of entry, you need to know about upcoming changes. All right, so let me know where you're watching from, of course. Say hello. Please like, share the stream so more people will be able to join us. Hi, Jenkins. Hi, Farah. Hi, Mr. Jayad. Don't forget to type up your questions so I'll be able to answer them in the end. And let's start. So the most important sort of news, it's not a complete surprise, but it seems that Biden administration is moving forward with that particular proposal. Concerns asylum system. And specifically, the Biden administration is planning on introducing recent arrival dockets. Within 180 days, somebody who comes to the United States and between the ports of entry and requests asylum will be processed through the court system. 180 days. These dockets are not going to be in every single court, but in most popular cities, such as Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, and New York City. What determines the jurisdiction of one's immigration court case? Two things. Number one, if a person is in detention, then the place of the detention, as a rule, is the place where the case is going to be heard. If the person comes to the United States, get caught, and says, release me on parole, I have a sponsor from Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, or New York City. That's where I will be residing. That will determine the jurisdiction of your case. Okay? That's why the cities where these dockets are going to be are not necessarily the ones right at the border. Okay? Because many of you are confused, perhaps, why the person comes through Texas or California, southern border, but his case is going to be all the way in New York City. It is because there is a federal nationwide jurisdiction over such cases, and if the person moved or if the person's place of detention changed, so would be the person's case jurisdiction. It means that somebody will have to prepare for the case very, very well. 180 days, 6 months to go through the system is extremely fast. Keep in mind that under Immigration Court Practice Manual, a person has to submit their final documents before their final individual hearing at least 15 days before the individual hearing or within the time the court prescribes. Very often the court prescribes this to be done within 30 days prior to the hearing, sometimes 60 days. It means that from the beginning till the end, you're going to have, in the best case scenario, usually 150 days to completely present your beautiful asylum case, have final evidence, theory of the case, absolutely correct case law. Everything is ready before the judge. Just today, I had a master hearing before a judge in California, Santa Ana, and my case specifically was a little bit different, but the judge gave specific instructions to the attorneys who were representing the client, stating that if you are going to be trying the case before the judge, you have to present a legal brief explaining every single point of your case, qualifications for asylum, particular social group. If you're arguing Convention Against Torture, there is a recent case, and you have to explain how your client qualifies for that particular relief. It means that if you want to go in front of the judge, you better be a good lawyer, knowing how to do legal research, how to argue, be confident, okay, and have a very strong case. Otherwise, it's going to be a nightmare. Before I went to the courtroom, my colleagues warned me it's one of the toughest judges, so I was well prepared. I made sure that I submitted everything ahead of time, what I needed to do. I made sure that I have all my ducks in a row, so-called, all the arguments. And for me, the experience and for my client was awesome. We were not delayed. Everything was very fast. And I understand that what happens is that that particular judge is extremely organized and likes to do things their way, right? Which, with the case law that they have, I don't blame them. Some practitioners do not like it, perhaps, or they're not prepared for that. It takes some experience to go through this, to meet different judges. I have 16 years of experience. So when I go with my client to the courtroom, I'm thinking first, what will help this judge and this prosecutor to see the case our way so that we can smoothly transition to the next step in our journey towards our green card, right? And when you look at the case from their point of view, it helps you and represent your client effectively. That's what I've been doing for 16 years, okay? So that's one piece of news I wanted to share with you. Another important change that's coming is relating, or it's already here actually, relates to the Visa Bulletin, guys. For the Visa Bulletin, you need to know that we are going to see some retrogression for those of you who are in employment-based categories. DHS warned us about that. They said that there will be retrogression. Do you know what retrogression is? This is when you're waiting and waiting for the priority date for your petition to be current. It's almost there. You're very happy. Soon, you're going to get your green card, but then you find out you're not going to get anything because all of a sudden your priority date moved or rolled back a couple of years. That's what retrogression is. It's extremely, extremely upsetting. We also see very slow movement in family-based categories. For example, F4 category for brothers and sisters of US citizens moved only for 10 days. To compare, last month, I believe it was a month. EB3 category for India moved only 7 days, advanced only for 7 days. F2A, one of the most popular categories, advanced 5.5 months, 2 weeks. That's probably the biggest jump in June 2024 Visa Bulletin compared to the previous Visa Bulletin. Can you speed up your case if you're stuck according to the Visa Bulletin? The bad news is that you cannot. The only thing that you can do is to jump somehow to a different category. How can you do that? Well, if your spouse who's a green card holder filed for you I-130, when that spouse becomes a US citizen, your case automatically changes to a category of immediate relatives, and you can forget about the visa bulletin. But you have to keep in mind certain things. If your spouse filed only one petition for you and your dependent child when he or she was a green card holder, and then they become US citizen, the child falls out of the case. That's a mistake that many people do because they don't realize what's going to happen. They're so eager to become US citizens, they do not consult with an attorney. They don't think it's not a big deal. It's a good thing for them, and they don't realize that the child is going to fall out of the case and will need a separate petition, and they will have to go through processing with USCIS for that petition, which takes time and delays the adjudication for the entire family. So very important. All right. And for those of you who are in employment-based categories, the only thing that you can do is somehow advance yourself so that from EB2 or EB3, you're going to jump into EB1 category. And if you are from one of the extremely backlogged countries, unfortunately, there is not much you can do there. Or maybe you can marry somebody from not a backlogged country and use their country of origin as the country for the issuance of the visa, which is allowed by the law. All right. So this is where we stand with the most recent updates. I do have a couple of slides for you I wanted to show. Let's see if it's going to work. What if it doesn't? Oh, forget it. Let me just jump to you guys' questions. So if you have some questions, please let me know. Type them up, and I will be able to answer them. Thank you, Jian. Hi, Farah. Which type of VAWA case is easier to get approved of the above two? Of the above two? Let me see, where are the above two? Farah, unfortunately, I don't see the above two. I just see hi from you. Do you take, here we go. Hold on. Do you take the VAWA case if someone retains you? Do you help them write VAWA declaration and do physical evaluation as well? Farah, I do handle a lot of VAWA cases. And while I can share certain points as to what a person who's victim of violence, battery, abuse has to focus on, I cannot write those declarations for them. That's illegal. I can only share the points, perhaps an example for a reference, not for copying. It's very important to understand. And as far as the psychological evaluation goes, attorneys do not perform them. I can recommend a doctor. You do not have to go with my recommendation. You can choose any professional to your liking who knows how to do reports for immigration, because USCIS likes to see certain points addressed in those evaluations. And if your professional has experience, you're going to have no hard time with USCIS. All right? Those reports should be very, very comprehensive. Hi, Edmond from Togo. Yay. Hi, Mian from Pakistan. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Edmond. Hi, Ali from Chicago. Yay. Hi, T today. I get approved for VAWA and I have pending I-45 for 5 years. How long to get answer for I-45? 5 years is a little bit excessive. Actually, a lot excessive, I would say. Something is going on in your case. You need to submit inquiries. Please work with your congressman, your attorney, see what's happening. Now I'm going to jump to my TikTok followers. I'm going to answer some of their questions. We have a lot of people joining. Thank you very much, guys. Please like, share the stream so more people will be able to join. Don't forget to send your love. And let me see what questions we have. I love the names. Hi, beautiful. I-139-45 together. Interview was scheduled in USCIS. Is it normal? It used to be a norm, I would say 2 years ago. Every case would go through a USCIS interview Now I see more and more cases without the interview being granted. But if you are called for the interview, I wouldn't necessarily think that something is bad going on. It also depends on your history. Have you tried to obtain your green card through marriage previously and it didn't work? Do you have a very clean and convincing evidence of legal entry? Have you ever been in deportation or removal proceedings? If the answers to those questions are all no, 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 then just prepare for the interview. Usually you should have no issues. Again, as long as both of you were free to marry, you did not have any previous immigration issues, you have not had any criminal unresolved situations or criminal situations that resulted in convictions that potentially may prevent you from receiving adjustment of status, and you have a legal entry, you should be okay. Thank you very much for the rose, 1883. Hi, Rekha Patel. It's been 10 years to F3 category. How long does it take for the approval? Approval depends on the visibility. Well, let me take it back. Approval of I-130 petition is separate from the visibility and waiting times. If you are in the F3 category, which is extremely backlogged, you can expect that it's going to take USCIS longer to adjudicate it, only because they know that it's not going to be current anytime soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if it takes that long for your case to be resolved in terms of USCIS making a final decision on I-130. Okay. Hi, 1883. What sponsor you need to bring someone over faster? What sponsor? All right. So there are various types of sponsors we can talk about in terms of immigration as a whole. Some of them will have to execute I-864 form. This form is for those who are filing for immigrant visas. I-134 form, those who file for non-immigrant visas or humanitarian parole. I-130 form is used by F1 students and for those who file for humanitarian parole. And also I call a sponsor someone who vouches for the person who comes through the border using CBP1 app, stating that they will oversee this person's affairs and help them out. Please release that person from detention. All right. So in all these situations, a sponsor usually is somebody who is a US citizen or a green card holder, has sufficient income and stable job, and has some fixed address in the United States. But usually you do know that the government makes a final decision always on everything. Hi, Peter. I won the DV lottery for the fiscal year 2022. I'm in the United States now. Can I still reclaim it? No, unfortunately, you will not be able to do that. Why? Because DV lottery rules are very strict. You have to claim your win within a specific time. Your time passed. And unless some special circumstances apply, and I'm not sure if you would qualify for them, there was a class action lawsuit for the people who were not able to claim their DV lottery winnings during the pandemic, but those are for overseas people too, okay? So unless special rules apply, it will not be possible to go back and claim that entry, DV lottery entry to be used for green card. Hi, Manuel. How long will it take after marriage for green card? After marriage to a US citizen, it will depend on how soon you're going to file for the green card. Marriage by itself does not provide you a green card. You have to submit documents to USCIS. If everything goes well, I just received an approval for one of my cases. It took us less than a year for the case to be approved. I think to be exact, it was only 8 months. There was no interview, and we received a person's green card in the mail. Hi, Basit Khan, past N400 interview. Case transferred to another USCIS pending I-751. What's next? Wow. So what happened is that you still have I-751 pending, it seems. You were supposed to ask the officer at your N400 interview to adjudicate I-751. Sometimes they resist that. They say they don't have the files, this and that. So in this situation, you speak to the supervisor. You ask them to speed up the resolution on I-751 because your citizenship is not going to be granted until that I-751 is adjudicated. You can call my office, book an appointment. We can discuss the situation further, but sometimes you can get stuck in a limbo for a very long time. So we use some solutions to that problem. And again, it's a longer discussion. Okay, it depends also on your situation, how that I-751 was filed, when, jointly, separately, and so on and so forth. Hi, Andrea. If I go back home after 3 years, H2B, and want to come back on valid B2, is there a wait time? No, there is no wait time for you if you're going to have B2 and if you didn't overstay any visas and violated any rules, okay? If you did violate rules of your visa, then you may be subject to unlawful presence bar, okay? Hi, Bahar, my lover is Kurdish and I'm an American, and your lover lives in Canada and come to Canada illegally. All right, is there a question here? Hi, S. How can I apply for a US visa? It depends on the type of the visa that you are seeking to receive. And it's done usually through a US consulate, of course, unless you're Canadian, and then you can seek admission at the border. All right, let me go back to my YouTube followers. Hi, Adioe. If I travel with advanced parole based on asylum, will I have a problem when coming back? It depends on what you're going to do overseas and if you're going to return to your home country from which you're claiming asylum. But typically, no, you should not have any issues. I cannot guarantee you that because I do not know your case, and also because nobody can guarantee you. A decision to allow you into the United States is being made at the time of your entry by the CBP officer. And that's what your advanced parole says as well, right? If you read the very small font, you're going to find this out. But in 16 years of practicing immigration law in the United States, I've never heard anyone who had issues coming back on advanced parole. My TikTok followers, thank you very much for your hearts. Do you think we can reach 1,000 hearts today? Let me know. One more question from Adioe. Is it better to file I-130 online or send the documents by mail? I like mailing documents in. I'm going to share with you a horror show. You want to hear it? About online filing. A person called my office to consult. 11 months ago, they filed I-130 for their spouse. They were waiting and waiting. They were checking their processing times. They've been separated with their spouse for a very long time. They got tired. In the end, they received a denial. They don't understand what happened. So what happened is this. They were filing their form online, and in the very last field where it says signature of the petitioner, they put the name of their beneficiary instead. As such, the form was denied because it was not signed by the proper person. There is no cure to this issue. The petitioner had to refile the case and wait another route of processing times. So Please be very careful when you file your case online. Hi, last TikToks. Interesting name. There is any chance to re-enter the US if you got deported for using fake safety certificates to work in cruise ship, because we don't have this training in my own country. Very interesting situation. Did you have expedited removal in this situation? Because if you're talking about a cruise ship, most likely you had C1D visa, right? If there is any chance, of course, but you have to qualify either for the waiver, right? Or you have to serve your time outside of the United States and then qualify for the visa. And of course, for the waiver and the visa, you have to qualify. So please call my office. We can go over your situation to see what your plans are, what you want to do. 917-885-2261, or you can book appointment using my website, shautsova.com, and I will be happy to see what can be done. But I have to tell you, you have a very interesting case. Why did you use those certificates? Hi, I'm Blake. Can I be waiting to remove conditions on my green card already sent in the papers and sponsor a parent that's currently in the United States? Yes, you can. If you are conditional resident, guys, you can and you should file for your family members. Why? Because if you're going to wait for that condition to be removed, it can take 5 years and longer. It doesn't make any sense. And in the meantime, if you file for it now, that wait time, according to Visa Bulletin, will start running, right? So absolutely, file. Let me have some questions from my TikTok. Hi, Fernie. Can I use that notice to show my employer to go back to work? When I first approval for my AAD, it says got extension for 180 days if filed on time. Yes, of course, you can use the notice that you receive when you file for your extension of the work permit to prove that you are eligible to work because you are subject to automatic extension. Plus, you need to know that currently by law, certain applications for renewal of the work permits resulted in extensions of 540 days, not 180. So you need to talk with the person who helped you to file for that extension to make sure that, first of all, you are in category that allows for automatic extensions. Check the date when that extension was filed and verify on USCIS website if now you can enjoy automatic extension of your work permit for up to 540 days, okay? Because the law changed a couple of months ago, I think. Hi, Jiran, got arrested as a minor. Will affect for citizenship. Never got press charges. Probably not. Usually juvenile arrests not a problem. Depends on how old you were, though. Minor, some people say it's 18 or 19, and then it may be. Because the general rule is this. You have to present certificates of dispositions for every arrest in your life. Very important, okay? Hi Denzel, doesn't I-693 RFE only from NBC mean the interview might be waived? What are your observations? It may be, but my observations are this. First, the USCIS office is going to ask for this document, but then they still are running final background checks. If during that final background check, they will encounter information about arrests, some derogatory information about you, they still may call you for the interview, okay? But usually, typically, hopefully you don't have issues, you should have your case approved. All right, let me see. Hi, Richard. My I-485 is pending for 2 years and 9 months due to removal proceedings, which was terminated. So if your removal proceedings were terminated, you were supposed to file your case with USCIS, right? And it's pending for 2 years and 9 months. It's still kind of a long time. Has nothing to do with removal proceedings, I would say. All right? Check with your attorney as to what's happening really. Okay, let me see if we have more questions. Hi, big man. Hello, lawyer. Can I get a green card if I get married with someone who have it? I wish it worked this way. When you marry somebody and the green card just automatically extends to you. Wouldn't it be lovely? Or the same with the citizenship. But no, the law doesn't work this way. You have to qualify for a green card separately. You have to file for it. If you are in the United States and you have maintained lawful non-immigrant status throughout your entire time in the United States since your last entry, then you would still have to wait for about 5 years before the first step, petition I-130, that is going to be filed by your green card spouse, is going to become currently. If you're out of the United States, you guys are going to go through consular processing, and it takes about 5 years right now for that petition to be current. In other words, can you? Yes, it's going to take a long time. By the time, though, your petition is current, your spouse is supposed to qualify for citizenship. And then it's a totally different story, right? You don't have to be in legal status all the time anymore. The law automatically forgives you for failure to maintain your status. All right? So eventually, probably yes. Hi, Vin. Asylum granted by immigration judge in I-94 not arriving after several requests. Should I file I-730 with judge's order? Yes, you can definitely try. The worst thing that's going to happen, you're going to have an error fee. Make an urgent appointment with USCIS field office. I think it will be good for you. Well, guys, if you like my answers and my presentation, can you please share it and send me some hearts so that I will have power to keep going. Let me see. Hi. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Hi, Farah. What is the timeline for VAWA? VAWA itself may take about 2 years, I-360 petition, but I-45 after it is going to take some extra time. Hi, Cream. No problem. Thank you very much to you too. No problem, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Hi, Susanna. How much is the writ of mandamus cost with you? Well, it's going to be expensive. I can tell you this. First I would check if there is anything else you can do apart from suing the government, guys. Because what happens is that you have to have a very strong case if you're suing the government. They will use everything and anything they can against you. So I think we should consult first and determine if that would be the right choice. And then we also can discuss the price, potential payment plan, and so on and so forth. It depends also on jurisdiction, on the case type, why you want to sue the government. So all these questions have to be answered before I can name you the price. Hi, last TikToks. Is it true if CBP wrote cancelled with prejudice mark in the US visa means impossible to re-enter the US again? Impossible to re-enter the United States again with that visa. Yes, that visa is dead. Thank you, Vin, very much for the gift. Thank you, guys, for your gifts, for the roses. Thank you. Hi, Day. When can a refugee apply for the green card? A refugee has slightly different rules than an asylee. Thank you very much for this lovely bear, Vin. And you guys also, I believe, don't have an application fee anymore for the green card as well. Almost right after entry, you can file for the green card, all right? So unless you have some criminal unresolved issues, usually refugees are going to file for the green card right after they enter, only if they have certain issues with relatives. They will hold on. If they have certain dependents, that they need to make sure are going to be admitted in the refugee status, then guys, you need to know that sometimes, not particularly with jump from refugee or asylee status to a green card, but when you're changing green card to citizenship, your relatives may lose ability to be your dependents in terms of asylum case. So proceed with caution. Just consult with an attorney, but I think you should be able to file for it now if you are already in the United States. But again, it's refugees are different from asylees. Okay. Hi, Pandalav. Can I apply I-130 if I have I-824 pending? I am using Citizen. I-824 takes 22 months in Vermont. I-824 is a form that is used to transfer certain petition from USCIS to National Visa Center. By then, I-130 was already supposed to be approved. Okay, so not sure what's happening here. Hi, Rihan. When you apply for a green card, how many months they take to come your mail? Oh, that's a little bit more complicated than that. What happens is that you have to wait for first your notice that the government accepted your filing, then fingerprint notices, then potentially an interview. And if all this cleared and your priority date potentially became current, then depending on your case, if there is no interview, you get your green card by mail. If there is an interview, you first have to appear for that interview, all right? How long does it take depends on the category in which you're filing for the green card. Marriage-based category based on marriage to a US citizen, typically a year. All other categories vary. It depends, really depends. High Spook EB4 had priority date of September 18th. Current priority date is on 2020. My application has been pending for a year. In EB4 category, the general wait time, it's a category for siblings of US citizens. The general wait time is 10 years. Okay? So your priority date has to be current. And if the file was filed only in 2020, I think you will have to wait at least till the 2028, 2030. Yeah, something like that. All right, it takes a long time. It's not going to be resolved within 1 year or 4 years. It takes very long time in the before category. And by the way, if you are following the news with regard to these preference categories, you know that some Republicans have plans on canceling these categories. I hope, even if those plans come true, they will not be able to touch cases that were already filed. So for that reason, I recommend anybody who has US citizen relatives, please ask them to file for you, even if you have to wait for 10 years. Okay? Just because they're constantly threatening that they may cut off certain family members from this sponsorship process completely. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much for participating, for your gifts, liking, sharing the streams. My name is Alena Shautsova. I'm a practicing immigration attorney. I've been practicing for 16 years. If you need to reach me beyond the streams, my phone number is on the screen for YouTube and Facebook followers, 917-885-2261. Also, my last name, shautsova.com, is my website. Send us your inquiry. We'll be happy to help you out. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and I have these streams regularly, at least once a week, sometimes twice. So please follow, join, and next week we're going to see each other again. Thank you and have a great weekend.